Welcome. Hi, my name is Lorenzo De Leo from Rocker, and today I have the pleasure of chatting with a good friend, Francesco Boni. How's it going, Francesco?
I'm very well, Lorenzo. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. It's actually interesting. It's just a coincidence. I swear we didn't do it on purpose, but we're both Italian. That means that this conversation is going to be extremely interesting, right?
Okay.
Although I'm based in Miami, Francesco is in London, correct?
Yes, I'm based in London. You
were telling me that today it's sunny in London, so it's a day to celebrate. So thank you for making the time. Even if it's sunny outside, I'll keep it short. The idea of these few minutes with Francesco is basically to get to know him a little bit better from a human perspective and from an entrepreneurial perspective. I always like to start by understanding the person behind entrepreneurs. So why don't you introduce yourself, Francesco, and you tell us a little bit about your exciting story and journey in the entrepreneurship world.
Sure. Well, myself, you can define me as a business lawyer. I studied law between Italy and the US. And then I moved to London, and like a good startup, I did a pivot. I changed completely and I started working in venture capital. I managed an Italian accelerator in London that was supporting Italian startups to scale abroad. And then I managed a seed capital firm that was investing in creative businesses. So it became my main passion, supporting startup, investing in startup, helping entrepreneurs achieving their goals, achieving their dreams, and understand and navigate the landscape of entrepreneurship. After a few years on the investor side, I decided to try to the other side of the table, and I started a company, actually with a good friend, Fabrizio Daloia, that was one of the investors in the startups that were part of my accelerator. And we started a blockchain-based fintech company that is called ArtSquare. And I had the other side of the situation, being an entrepreneur, having to face problems every day and ask investors money. And this has been now 3 years with this company that is called ArtSquare. We are doing good, I'd say. So to introduce me, I can say both things, half investor, half entrepreneur with a background in law. So kind of a melting pot, like all us Italians that leave Italy, and then it's life is deciding for us what to do.
Yeah, exactly. We're constantly evolving or pivoting, let's say, right?
Yeah, pivoting is the right word.
I love your story because I think that there is a lot of value in having experience on both sides, as you said, because when I personally teach entrepreneurs how to start a company and how to launch and scale their companies, and the biggest thing for me is to make them understand the perspective of other people in the ecosystem. For example, if you're raising money, you need to understand the perspective of investors. You can only think as an entrepreneur, and vice versa. When you're investing in companies, it's super useful to at least understand the challenges and the pain points of building a company, so that you can make better decisions when you evaluate teams or opportunities. So I think that your background is super interesting and very valuable. Definitely, I would like to know a little bit more about ArtSquare. I know that the project is amazing. There was some achievement right last week that maybe you want to share with us. So what is ArtSquare about? How does it work? How did you start it? Where are you? Just tell us a little bit about it.
Of course. So ArtSquare is a fine art and collectibles exchange. Our idea was, we started in 2018, and our idea was to make fine art, so artworks from top painters such as Andy Warhol, Kit Haring, Picasso. We want them to be accessible and tradable like any other liquid asset. So we wanted to have a stock exchange with fine art. It was an ambitious idea because art is per definition something illiquid. When you buy an artwork, you have to wait years and to sell it, and it's very difficult. It's the typical thing. It's a store of value, and it's the opposite of liquid assets. And also, it's not democratic at all. This industry is very opaque. The world of art is difficult if you are from outside to come and find the right people to guide you, and the barrier of entry is very high. Also in terms of money, if you don't put at least 50,000 on the table, you don't buy art that is gonna grow in value. You buy, I call them merchandise, beautiful things to have in the house, but they don't grow in value. So we wanted to challenge those issues in this industry and combine it with our experience in finance. Therefore, we started ArtSquare. It's very simple. You have an artwork, we tokenize it, and then we allow users to invest in these tokens that represent a portion of the artwork, and then they can trade them at any time on the secondary market, exactly like on Kraken, on Binance, or on the London Stock Exchange, or on the Nasdaq. So effectively creating two things: lower entry barrier, because on ArtSquare you can invest in one token from €1, $1 or equivalent currency, and then making it liquid, because you buy the artwork, you change your mind, you want to sell it, you can just put it on the secondary market, make your profit, and the art is liquid now. So this was our vision, our idea. In terms of history, we started right after the end of the ICO craziness, the bull run of 2018. We really wanted to position the company as with a very high reputation, because at that time you say crypto, they think you're Pablo Escobar. Art is also very close to money laundering and stuff, and again, it's very difficult to get into this space. So we did a startup route in terms of getting the connections, positioning the brand, working only with top galleries, very recognized in the space. In fact, on ArtSquare, all the artworks you find are from a gallery, not from an individual or a collector. And then we did our, put the backpack on our shoulders, knock door by door on every gallery, knock door by door to every potential investor. We did a seed round, and we did an MVP, and we started doing our proof of concept, meaning tokenizing artworks and getting artworks on the website. Then consider 3 years. We were very. I can say that we managed to establish the company in a good way in the space, meaning that people knew, if you say ArtSquare, these are the people that tokenize art. And then last year there was the boom, because another bull run. So we basically went into the winter, and now we came out with this bull run that started in last December, with everybody talking about NFT, because effectively we sell shares of NFTs, and everybody in every kind of industry, if you say crypto now, they listen. So now it's the company is achieving the goals and getting the results from the effort we put in the last 3 years.
Exactly. So you were already in NFT before it became a trend, right?
Exactly.
So you were kind of like maybe not creating the trend, but navigating with the flow, let's say, and everything was
floating. Exactly.
and all of the pieces were falling in place, right? Like your concept with even like the market, and you mentioned like the ICO era was I guess very important, because it made a lot of like technical concepts mainstream, if you want, but on the flip side it also created a lot of negative opinions, right, around this concept. So I'm sure that it was a real challenge for you to somehow flip the reputation of the space to create something that is really valuable. It's real actually, and it works. So that was a great challenge. And then so you get into the NFT wave, right? So you were in the right spot at the right time, we can say.
Yeah, right. And when last December we needed a strong tech partner, because we were scaling. We had more users coming on board, more interest, and you know, the MVP was not strong enough to manage to catch the opportunity that was that we were about to face. And we found in we had the idea of applying to the Algorand Accelerator and see if we could get an opportunity to work directly with their team, because the technology seemed very good for us at that for what we were about, what we wanted to build.
So sorry for interrupting, but so basically you were now working with Algorand, and you use the accelerator basically to shift.
We were looking for a strong technology that was reputable, meaning that when we say we are with them, people say okay, because when you say crypto again, people are still a bit like this. And we were looking for a technology that was strong for our needs, because if we want to do an exchange, we need people to trade these assets very quickly. We don't have the problem of we don't want high gas fees, and we don't want them to have forking. So all the main characteristics of Algorand were a perfect match for our ArtSquare case. So we applied for the accelerator. We were very happy that we've been selected. I think there were like 11 of us. And then we started this process that was, I never worked so much in my life. Like they put us in a very properly accelerator, fast tracked, and they helped us in all the aspects of the business. Because on one side that we were like working on the technology, so making sure that the tech was strong enough to manage the effort, but also long term, business wise, we had the support of amazing mentors that have been introduced from the Algorand ecosystem to us to strategize and kind of think. Build a sustainable business, not only catch the opportunity of making some money selling some NFTs, but positioning the company in a strong way in the industry. And I think, as you said earlier, we achieved something important last week. But we sold an artwork that was listed in Algo, meaning people could use Algo as a form of payment. And it was sold out in 2 hours. And that's something that was amazing. We had a great response for the community. It was overfunded, the campaign of 200%. And tomorrow we're going to list another one because we have so much request. And we had no issues in terms of tech. Everybody was happy. And this is something that for us, worked so hard to get to this point. It's very important, and we are very, very grateful for the opportunity of, working with the Algorand team and everyone from tech to marketing to business side. It was just the right fit for us at the moment.
I think this story, which is not just a story, it's actually reality, is super valuable, because I feel that, too many times we tend to talk about like the big success stories, like the unicorns or the exits, and of course you can learn a lot from those, case studies, but I think that you can learn way more by listening to somebody like you who are, doing it, and so you can really share the real, let's say, pain and struggle and joy, if you want to build a company from scratch and going through all of those challenges. And there is something that you said that I think is key, which is, the value of receiving support in many areas and not just in technology, because clearly this is a conversation about Algorand, and technology is probably the #1 thing that we need to cover. But the reality is that we all know that technology is not sufficient, right? It's not enough. Like, you need a strong technology, but at the end of the day, you are generating value, you're selling value to your users or your customers. And in many cases, the user doesn't even care if, what technology you're using and how easy or difficult it was for you to develop that technology. What they care about is the value that they receive. And so I really like that you mentioned that the value of going through the Algorand Accelerator was beyond technology. Of course, technology is covered, that's the main thing. But on the flip side, there is also like conversations about business and team.
Marketing, branding, fundraising. Every week there was a different session with a different mentor or a guest that was, and we are talking about the top level of entrepreneurship here because the ecosystem is amazing. What we will do is we will have basically we will match one of our team members with someone that could help. So there would be, I don't know, the CMO having the chance to talk with a mentor that is somebody that maybe raised 60 million with an ICO 12 months ago, to understand the strategies and ask even the stupid question like, what if the emails end up in spam? And, with that level of expertise and of informality, because you are between friends, you kind of have the opportunity to solve your questions, and you can see, as you said, you can see the guys telling you the issues that you're gonna have, and that it's not like what you see on the books, but it's actually real. And then they give you that little push to do that leap of faith in order to try, because you feel like the time is right, and you kind of checked all the boxes, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, by the time your story becomes a book, it's too late. Like it means that it's already established, it's already finalized. Now, what we want to know, the way we think people can learn, is by literally getting early access to the talent and to the experience. Somebody that is doing it right now and can help you in an active way. So I love that, and I really appreciate you sharing the story. Any final message, final recommendation, final, I don't know, thought? Anything that you want to add, Francesco, as far as Algorand, the community, your experience, or anything that you can?
I think if I had to say something, a message to the people applying to the Miami Accelerator, it will be definitely that to do the application properly, thoughtfully, and kind of like don't lose the opportunity in terms of putting the work, knowing that it's hard, but it's baby steps. You have to look at the next step. So do the application, then go through the first week, then go through the second, ask questions if there is a problem, and then kind of like you go underwater, and then when you get out, you are in a different person. It's like starting a training. You go to the gym. You gotta start somewhere, and the first step is to approach it with the right mindset. So, I mean,
that's a great thing. And I also, just to add something, I invite people to look at this as an opportunity to really establish a business relationship. Like, the fact that there is an application doesn't mean that it's not a test like in school. So the point is not just to say something cool so that your company is going to be selected. This is literally about getting to know each other and see if there is a fit, right? The program has a lot of instructors, a lot of mentors, a lot of resources, but the whole point is to find the right companies that will take advantage of all of those things to grow, right? So think about it as the first date, if you want, in a business relationship, and the beginning of hopefully a long journey.
I think the main question to address is what do you need from the accelerator? Kind of like not be ashamed to say we don't have this, because this is the moment where you guys behind the accelerator can see they have this, we have that element that we can plug in, and this company can skyrocket. It's just a matter of doing a business, is a matter of mixing the right ingredients. If you don't have one, this is the moment of asking the neighbor, sorry, do you have some sugar for me, because I need to bake. And then with that little add-on, you can basically solve the problem, and all the work you're doing you can start seeing the results.
Exactly, I totally agree. This is a collaboration, and this is about making it happen together. So, Francesco, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your support. You're going to be part of the program as well. I'm very excited about counting on you as an instructor, as a mentor.
Looking forward to it.
So thank you again, and talk to you soon.